So here you can see we've got our concrete pads poured, got a string line set up, and now we are slapping in some bricks.
Look at this creamy batch. Oh yeah. Oh!
Alright, then we set our bearer in. This is pretty much showing you the perimeter of the new extension. From there, Louis marking out 450mm centers, and we are dropping on 100 by 50mm LVL joists. We don't have any load-bearing internal walls in this build, so all the load-bearing points are all around the perimeter, which all have massive concrete pads poured, and all the internal is all the existing, and the engineer was happy with that. Now here is the junction where the old house met the old extension, where they sort of took the roof tiles and the eaves and the gutters off, and they slid in a tin roof. And this is also where the leak where the leak was like really a problem. So we've got rid of all that now, but that means we need to rebuild the eaves and the gutters. So here we're just using some 90 by 45 and just extending them out to rebuild the eaves and the gutters at a later date. We had Matt from Plumbed Up. He's roughed in all the plumbing for us for the new kitchen. Probably the biggest fuck up of the whole job. We've kept the existing tongue and groove flooring under the old part of the renovation, and then we've framed out all new framing all around that wherever we were extending the building line out. Now, I was on this Facebook group and I was asking like best ways to insulate, and I was in a group that is quite knowledgeable when it comes to insulation. And someone suggested just using a cheap fiberglass on the internal part of the floor, and then maybe using a polyester insulation on the external part, which would better deal with moisture and getting wet, you know, being like an open cavity like that. So generally when you insulate underneath the floor of a old house like this, you would use like a polyester type insulation because it can deal with moisture, whereas a fiberglass insulation like this gorgeous stuff here, this stuff doesn't really like to get wet. So I took their advice, I did that, and yeah, I think that's where I fucked up the most. If everything went to plan and we got the floor insulated and then we got the yellow tongue down, and then we got the walls up and the roof on, it would have been all good. But we had like this record amount of rain over summer, like insane levels of rain, and I thought the yellow tongue would sort of deal with a lot of that moisture. We had Sikaflex on all the joints of all the sheets. I also had black plastic like wrapped around the floor, but obviously not good enough. And the rain just did not stop. It just rained and rained and rained and rained. Like, it was insane. It was insane. And so basically, fast forward a couple of months, and I've got the whole place locked up. I opened up the floor just because I was a little worried about what moisture may have penetrated, and it was still wet. So then I had to like cut holes in the floor and try and air it all out just to dry it up. So yeah, if I had done it again, I definitely would not have done this step right here. I either would have got rid of the original subfloor, the tongue and groove subfloor, or I would have used a more suitable insulation, not this fiberglass stuff, but the polyester stuff throughout. So any moisture wouldn't have been as, damaging. So there's nothing I can really do about it towards the end of the build. I made the mistake. I fucked it up. And yeah, I won't do it again. On the next build, I will not do that again. I have seen some guys that lay the yellow tongue and then they literally waterproof the whole floor, and maybe I should have done something like that. But yeah, I wanted to keep the original floor there because I figured 20 mil of cypress pine, then insulation, then another, almost 20 mil of yellow tongue. I was just figuring more layers is going to be like a better insulated floor. So that was the theory in keeping it. But yeah, next time I probably won't do that. Anyway, onwards and upwards. So here we are, 9045 H2 blue. All the framing timber in Australia is blue that is used for internal works. And here we are knocking up the very first wall. This is when you sort of start to see it all come together. Some of you will also notice that the floor isn't completely down. Once again, the weather was being a bitch, so I've just put the yellow tongue all around the perimeter so I could start standing walls up, and then we waited for a slightly drier day to then put those middle sheets on. Like I said, not ideal. So yeah, then here we're standing up our first 3-meter wall. We've got 3-meter internal walls here around the perimeter of the building, and it seemed massive. We were all just standing back, hands on the hips, holy shit, that seems high. But yeah, it was cool to see. Here we are knocking up another wall, standing it up, sliding it into position. I've got my old man here, Louis and Zach. And then this is basically over Christmas. You can see the floor's fucking wet as, and I'm still trying to do some framing on my own while the boys are off over Christmas. Wouldn't really recommend any of this, but it's what happened. I was just trying to get it done, man. I really was dying to get a roof on this place, and money and all that shit was blowing out, so I was just trying to get it done. Here I'm trying to stand a wall by myself once again. Not a good idea. We covered all the walls with brazed ply. On every single wall has brazed ply on it, which I figured for a small cost, why not? Plus, I also like not having to push your insulation in and just having your building wrap is the only thing to hold it in. I like having something solid to push your insulation up against. Plus, your building is better braced. Like, that's never going to be a problem. So, yeah, brace ply throughout. We got your double top plates and everything, all the strapping done. And we are basically ready to start the roof, which is going to be a mission. Knocking up these walls over Chrissy, over summer was great. I honestly had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, the next episode we get into the roof where we're using 240 by 45 mil rafters to create this big vaulted ceiling. Hope you guys come back for it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.